All right, let's get started. So anybody who is just coming in, if you could please sign in with your email address in the chat box. If you're new to this coalition meeting and want to become a member, please let me know in the chat box and I will reach out to you after the break. So today, in our meeting, we have the King County Opportunity for Youth COVID survey results presentation, and they will be talking about some of the results that they got from youth that they interacted with during the COVID outbreak since it started. So I'll have, is it Stephanie who's presenting? Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get the name. But I will set up the presentation and you can get started.
Introduce everyone. My name is Stephanie, peer connector with Reconnect to Opportunity. And we have our peer connector, so me, Maria, Vince, and Greg is out. And then we have our interns, Theon, William, and Ignacio. And then management, Malcolm and Maria. And Sion will be presenting today. So this is the youth COVID survey that we did in May, and Sion will give a little explanation on it. So whenever you're ready, Sion.
Hello, everyone. I'm one of the interns at Reconnect to Opportunity, and I will be presenting today. And so I'll be presenting the Opportunity Youth Survey results that was conducted by youth and for youth, and I will let you know all about it once we get started. Next slide. So the purpose of the Youth COVID survey was to document the experiences and the needs and strengths of Opportunity Youth during the pandemic, so that the people that are working to respond to it will be able to support and rebuild and have direct input from young people. So the audience that we were targeting while conducting the survey was staff and programs in schools that were serving Opportunity Youth and community leaders and decision makers that were involved in the response and the recovery. And all of the responses for the survey were collected in May of 2020. Next slide. So this survey was developed by youth and for youth, and there are many young leaders that were involved in the process, and 3 of them are present with us today. Next slide. So out of the 217 young people that were responding to the survey, it was mostly people of Latinx descent or Asian or Asian American descent that were responding. And then also for the age groups, we saw that a lot of people that were ages 16 to 18 were the ones that were mostly responding, and 19 to 21 were also responding. And as for gender, we saw that people that identified as female were the ones that were mostly responding to the survey. Next slide. So out of all the people that were responding to the survey, 41% of the people were in comprehensive high schools, and 24% of them were enrolled in a college or university. And 73% of those people weren't working, and only 7% were working full-time. Next slide. So the top respondents from the survey were mostly from South King County, so in the Burien, SeaTac, Tequila, and Federal Way area. Next slide. So the first theme is that COVID is affecting the lives of young people in many different ways, with the most negative impacts around employment, education, relationships, and mental health. One of the themes that stuck out to me from this was that financial stability has been an issue at home, so I had to change my future plans for college. And I just wanted to share that with my personal experiences with COVID, I kind of saw an opposite effect of that. I saw myself getting more employment opportunities during COVID than I had before COVID. Next slide. And so we saw that, next slide, please. So we saw that 33% of the youth said that their employment had been negatively impacted and their education had also been negatively impacted, and 20% of people said that. And only 5% of people said that their employment had been positively impacted during the pandemic, and 8% of people said that their education had been positively impacted by the pandemic as well. Next slide. So theme 2 says that youth and families are experiencing acute financial hardship and many struggle to meet basic needs. Next slide. So one theme, could you go back, please? So one theme that stuck out to me was that my dad got laid off because I couldn't go to work because I was sick and in the hospital. And now unemployment is taking forever to pay us. We don't even know meals for the rest of the month. And I'll let you have time to read the rest. Next slide, please. So theme 3 says that strong, supportive, and sustained relationships between staff and students are key to learning, especially remote learning. Next slide. One theme that really stuck out to me was that I don't feel like the schools are considering our personal well-being sometimes. I hope that in the future, schools are more flexible and empathetic of a student's perspective. This especially stuck out to me just because I noticed that a lot of the schools weren't really asking for youth feedback or youth input on remote learning, and they were kind of expecting youth to go along with whatever was happening. And I know that was very difficult for a lot of people, including myself. Next slide, please. So during remote learning, a lot of people said that their staff were pretty supportive, and not even just staff, teachers, case managers, and counselors included as well during the pandemic. And we saw that people from Black or African American descent or Latinx descent, so that their staff in their schools had been the most supportive. And we also saw that 14% of Black or African American students said that they weren't currently in school, and 19% of them of Latinx students said that they currently weren't in school either. Next slide, please. So we noticed that a lot of people that were participating in online learning had been saying that it wasn't as helpful as they thought it could have been. And we also noticed that students that were Pacific Islander or multiracial said that remote learning had been the most useful to them. And Black or African American students also said that it was useful, but not as useful as the rest. So theme 4 says that our schools lack integrated mental health supports, an essential component of learning, especially now. Next slide, please. One theme says, I wish I had school right now and the benefit of human interaction. School is a safe space for a lot of people, and now we don't get the opportunity to get away every day. I miss having people to talk to and support from my peers if needed. I know that a lot of people have been saying that school had been their safe space, and that it was a chance for them to get away from anything that might have been going on at home, and not having that took a toll on a lot of people's mental health, is what I have been hearing, and actually took a toll on my mental health as well. So a lot of the youth said that they're using TV streaming and connecting with friends as their main way to manage stress during this time, and playing video games as well. 53% of youth said that, and 11% of people said that they were using other ways to manage their stress. Next slide, please. So theme 5 says that this is a time of deep social disconnection for young people, though they're creative about finding ways to engage. Next slide, please. So it's one says, I'm a person who loves hugs when I see people, and I definitely have been missing that because of quarantine. I know that it is a safety of me and others, but after quarantine, everyone will be getting a hug. So the main ways that youth are staying connected with each other are social media at 88%, and 81% of youth said that they're using texting as a way to connect with their friends. Next slide, please. And out of all the social media, we noticed that people were using Instagram and Snapchat to connect with their friends the most at 32 and 23%, and 7% of people said that they didn't use social media at all. Next slide, please. So theme 6 says that young people face uncertainty about the future and disappointment about missing key milestones, but understand that and value the health and safety. So one theme says, I no longer know where I want to end up after high school and college. I no longer think that my goals are valid, and I can't be sure if they can even happen. Next slide, please. So this is an overview of all of the themes. Theme 1 says that COVID is affecting the lives of young people in many different ways, with the most negative impacts around employment, education, relationship, and mental health. This was the theme that I saw was the most, it connected with me the most, just because I know that everybody's lives have been impacted, and I know that they've been negatively impacted, especially in these areas. And I think that my education had been positively impacted and negatively impacted at the same time, because I learned what I want to do when I'm older, and I got a lot more clarity on what I want. And I also just felt like I wasn't getting the support that I wanted from my teachers and my counselors, and that was really hard for me. And as for employment, I started to get more involved in things, and I was able to find more employment opportunities during COVID, which was, I know, which differed from a lot of people as well. And a lot of what impacted my education negatively was because of my relationships between my staff. Just because during remote learning, I didn't have anybody to reach out to. It felt like it was very difficult to get in touch with my teachers or anybody that I needed to get help from, and that was really hard for me when I was in remote learning. Next slide, please. So this is a list of all the solutions that we came up with in order to help based on the responses of the survey. So solution 1 says that remember that communities of color are disproportionately impacted by 2 pandemics, COVID-19 and systemic racism, and that racial trauma and anti-Blackness are real. Prioritize financial security and basic needs so that youth and families can navigate the economic impacts of the pandemic. Prioritize public health and safety to slow the spread of the virus and ensure that learning environments protect youth and staff health and safety. Create opportunities for young people to contribute their expertise and skills and to be actively involved in the pandemic response at the program, school, district, and community levels. Connect youth and their families to accessible mental health resources, supports, and services, and actively work to undo the stigma surrounding mental health. Make virtual spaces and tools available and accessible for youth to connect with one another about their experiences, ideas, stories, coping strategies, and more. Use social media to engage with young people, disseminate health and mental health information, and provide relevant resources and support. Prioritize building connections and deepening trust among staff and youth, because relationships and social emotional well-being are key to learning. learn from experimentation with remote schooling to build increased flexibility and individualized support into the education system during and beyond this public health crisis. And lastly, find ways to acknowledge important milestones and future aspirations while prioritizing health and safety. Validate new learning happening in areas like resilience, creativity, reflection, and organization. So based on these solutions, Reconnect Opportunity has been taking up some solutions of their own that connect to these as well. And so Maria Gonzalez and Stephanie Cordova, they created a wellness group for students to come and seek support for mental health resource services and just have a safe place to talk so that it would be accessible to them whenever they needed it. Just so that they could also work to help destigmatize mental health and make it more normalized in the community. REOP also organized a drive-through resource fair in August. I wasn't present there, but there had to be a way that they could provide resources to the community while still practicing social distancing guidelines. So they provided resources relating to education, housing, food, and employment, and over 50 families were assisted during the time. We also launched youth focus groups to uplift youth voice and make sure that their needs and their concerns are being met and heard, which also helps people in the community realize and better work to see how they can support youth better so that it can also be more effective. And so we've also been connecting with counselor programs so then they can also be more innovative in the ways that they assist youth, and so that they will be able to take advantage of the resources that are being provided to them as well. So now we're going to move on to the discussion. And so you're able to unmute your mic or you're able to type in the chat whatever you think about these questions. So one of the questions says, what stands out to you about the findings? Does this resonate with what you're hearing or seeing? How can we help advance these youth-driven solutions? And what changes in service delivery have you made during COVID and what has worked well? So you're able to just unmute yourself or talk if you want to.
Also, does Ignacio or William, do you guys want to share one of the themes that resonated with you guys?
Yeah, can you go back to that slide with the first couple of themes?
I think forward. It's at the end. It says themes on the side, on the left side.
Yeah, the theme that I could relate to the most was theme 4, which was, oh no, theme 5. This is a time of deep social disconnection for young people, though they are creative about finding ways to engage. So when quarantine began and online school became a thing, like Sion said, I didn't really, or I personally didn't really have contact with my teachers and didn't go out of my way to go check my email, like Outlook and all that. So I just had to rely on my friends on Instagram and other social media platforms. So yeah, that's one that I could relate to.
The one I could relate to was number 2. Youth and families are experiencing acute financial hardship, and many struggle to meet basic needs. My I, I, my dad has a lot of friends that they're hardworking, but due to the corona, they had to stop working. So it was like I felt kind of bad for them because like they gotta pay bills where they live, and they got like kids to support. But yeah, that's the one I can relate to.
Do you mind going forward to the questions?
There was a question. Are you guys finding any resources to help with these themes?
That question geared or to the collective?
I think we would want to hear from the coalition and the programs that you're currently working with, the ones that assist youth. Are you seeing that these stand out as far as the findings that were presented today? And is there anything innovative that you guys are doing with outreach and engaging youth in services?
I'd like to speak on that a little bit. Jaquay Holiday here, Chief Self International High School. So I'm part of the student success team. And so what we're like, our main goal is really, reaching out to our students, seeing which resources you need, what is hindering you, what's not being conducive to your learning environment. Like we really try to tap in, with all of our students and their families. Like I heard one of the young people say earlier that, this whole thing online, it's new for everybody. I say it's new for them, but we all of us that are on here are trying to, figure out a different way to handle it. Teams meetings, bad links, bad connections. I don't have a good internet at this time. All these things, we're all walking through it together. But like I said, what I will say in my building, man, we really are, trying to step out and, man, really figure out what's the best way to serve our families and serve our students. Because we know that everybody's going through it. We know everybody's dealing with it. And we know that, this corona's messed everything up. We all walking through this together. And so, we work from that standing as we move forward.
And is there others that if, from the findings that were presented today, is there anything that stands out? And especially with the solutions, we have to think differently and get creative with how we're engaging youth. So is there something that you're doing that you've had to change in the way that you serve youth to make sure that they are engaging, or you're developing those relationships with youth virtually? So if anybody can speak on that, that'd be helpful.
I would like to speak on that. I'm Nancy Baskett with Washington State University Extension 4-H program. And we've actually developed virtual kits that can be delivered to youth, etc. Either if you have a group that's meeting together still, or it can be delivered to the various youth and their families. This summer we actually did our chef program, which is Choose Food, Fun, and Fitness. And they got their kit and some cooking food ingredients to do delivery of built-in recipes online with an instructor. Now we are doing Health Rocks. This is actually with help of Penn State. Health Rocks is a positive self-esteem, inspired to be substance-free program we have. And we took our kits and made them into virtual kits for each youth. And that we broke the 10 hours into 4 kits. The first one is stress management, how to be a good friend online. making friendships, and then we go into decision making, then we go into why you don't want to vape, and then public action in the community. And we've actually developing all the kids, each kid will get everything they need to do those activities for that kid. And these are totally free to our partners.
Thanks for sharing that, Nancy.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy. That was great. I know that for the coalition, we've been trying to have after-school programs like our prevention team with Danielle Bach at Denny, and it's been really hard to get kids to engage to after-school activities online, just because they've already been online all day at school, and so to have an additional hour of online time at school is so difficult. So I kind of want to hear from the youth. Do you feel that being online every day is too much? Or would it be better if your time got decreased to maybe like 3 days a week instead of 5? Or maybe this is something that we could take back to like the school districts.
So like start right now, so I'm not like taking any high school classes, and I'm not in Zoom like during high school hours. But I know that just for me personally, like there have been times where I've had to be in a Zoom meeting for like 5 hours straight, and it's way too much for me, and I'm not like able to focus. So I don't really like think it's very beneficial anyway to have students like in Zoom meetings all day, because eventually like they start getting tired and they're not able to focus as much as they would have been. So it is kind of like a waste of time in my opinion. And I definitely think that time should be decreased, just because I think it's really hard for anybody to focus all day in front of, like while staring at a Zoom screen. I know it's very hard for me, and I've heard from other people that they feel the same way as well.
Right. Jaquay, is that similar to what you're hearing from your students?
Oh, most definitely. It's rough, man. So, what like we'll get back, I try to get in there and they're like, I try to get in, and after a while, you lose attention. It's really, it is difficult to stare at a screen all day. Like even, no one's immune to the human experience. I find myself having to get up and walk away from the screen a lot during the day, like 15, 20 minutes. I already feel myself starting to space out a little bit. So I got to get up, shake it up, move around. So like I said earlier, man, this is something that's all new that we're all adjusting to. And so everything come at you fast, but we got to work through together. But yes, I totally agree with that.
Are there any other youth who want to share that sentiment or?
Yeah, I agree. It can be like mentally draining, especially while like staring at a screen with no like blue light filter, So you'll be like, also your eyes would also be tiring. And I personally don't go to school yet, but like my friend who I'm talking to, who does like Running Start as well, she's just like has a bunch of projects and like assignments to do, and on top of that having to like be within other classes. So I feel like that would be very stressful, and I would agree with like shortening it down to like 3 times a week.
That's good to hear. And as a coalition, we want to support you all in that, and hearing that the blue light, it does strain your eyes. I know for myself, I've had to get blue light glasses too. Or so maybe that's something that the coalition can do, is get maybe blue light glasses for students. Do you think something like that would be helpful if the school district provided materials like that for you guys? Is there anything else that like the district can do, or even the coalition can do, to get your voices heard of what you need?
I just think that there just needs to be more opportunity for youth to like share their voices, because I know like my school district, they're trying to like put out surveys where youth can fill them out and stuff. And I know that a lot of youth haven't been filling it out. And even if they do fill it out, I feel like nothing's really changing anyway. Even if we said that a lot of students, or even if a lot of students said that it was hard for them to stare at a screen all day, I feel like it still wouldn't change, just because I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times youth's voice, they even if they are being heard, a lot of like action is not being taken to like get their needs met. And I know like providing resources like that would definitely be helpful, but just like shortening the school days, I think what a lot of people want to see.
Great. That's good to hear. Danielle, do you have any questions or any concerns about engaging with the youth that you've been trying to engage with? Ms. Bach?
Yeah. Hi, thank you. I'm Danielle Bach, and I work as a counselor at Denny and Chief Sealth, and it's really good to hear these findings. I'm really thanks for doing this survey and those that supported it, and also I really appreciate all this important feedback to help us figure out how we can develop better strategies during this challenging time. Like Lindsay said, I'm sure that we can maybe share this PowerPoint with our staff and at the schools. I think that the more people that see this, that hear your voice, we can come together to address, the mental health. And again, like Lindsay said, it was, an opportunity to create like it was mentioned, like a virtual space where we can maybe just come together without the pressure of the virtual learning and just maybe talk about some of these experiences. But again, I found that, having that space was great, but asking students again out of their day to, again, come on and Zoom with me. But maybe there's some ways that we can get creative and think out of the box and think of ways that might attract more youth. I know we're all learning about how to like one person said, going and checking the email and like kind of these other steps are difficult, but we can all come together. So yeah, I didn't have a lot of participation in the after school program, but maybe there's some strategies that the youth here could help me with and of reaching more people. Because the teachers and the counselors want to know more about what we can do specifically to support the students. One thing that came up is that we have a lot of these items that are like incentives. And so I started creating care packages, and the care packages can be delivered or mailed. And we have a lot of items that, for example, the You Can kit has a journal. There's, basic need thing like mask and lanyards and hand sanitizer. We have some school supplies. We have some like jump ropes and hacky sacks, things to maybe get active, Kleenex, snacks, again, maybe we can get together and maybe we can add the blue light glasses or things like that would sort of boost people's mood. They get something delivered to their home and maybe boost their motivation to engage online. I mean, I've been learning a lot about Teams, like, oh, if I hit them up in the chat, they might be more responding than going and checking their email. Because I know that people are inundated with emails. So I would love to get together with some of the people here and maybe talk about how we can, in like the social media campaign and like Instagram, like what was going to attract you or what would work. Because like I'm like all of us kind of sitting here home alone and going, okay, how can I make this attractive? Whether it's a campaign or something on Canva, but I could really use your feedback and your input, and maybe we can come together for you to drive like a social media campaign to address some of these solutions.
Yeah, I think those were all really great ideas, Daniel. We've also been in other meetings where we've presented the same information and people have talked about maybe ideas to incorporate more like hands-on approaches to some of these, some of the solutions. So like doing like show and tells, incorporating that into their class, into the class, and the goodie bag that you were mentioning, maybe doing an unboxing in front of everybody like unboxing their gift, or just more interactive approaches so that people stay connected and are more willing to go online and turn their cameras on and talk to each other.
That's a great idea. We'd love to do something like that. Yeah, like, we do have funding, so we'll definitely coordinate something with Danielle and maybe even you guys and partner and maybe create like boxes to send to the kids and doing an online boxing event where the kids can open and do like a YouTube video or something like that. That'd be great. All right, does anybody else have any questions for this lovely group? Thank you so much. That information was really, really helpful. I know there was people who couldn't make it today because of Thanksgiving is tomorrow, they had the day off and they really wanted this information. So that's one of the reasons why we were recording. And if it's okay with you guys, we'd love to share your PowerPoint to our partners in the school, of course, in the district, and just kind of share your findings and the information and some of the ideas that we talked about today. So thank you so much for coming. And we will definitely partner in the future for resources for the kids. And if there is, if you guys have like a worksheet or anything that you compiled from just students, like what their needs are, please send it over so that we could share with our teachers and our principals at the schools.
And Lindsay, thank you for having us today, and great job for, the presentation, the peer connectors, Sion, William, and Ignacio. So one of the things that we can forward on to you, and I'll have Stephanie, if Stephanie can do that, is our final report. So that's something that can be shared out widely.
Great, thank you.
And I also wanted to add, we do have our re-up page on Instagram that we have been working with the interns on doing a IGTV series, and it's called Quarantine Re-op. And we've just kind of been addressing some different topics. We did one on voting. We did one on mental health. It was a mental health mukbang. And the one that we're working on right now is racism. So I will put in the chat our Instagram platform, and you guys can follow up on that.
Awesome, thank you. All right, well, with that, let's move on to the next item on the agenda. And we're gonna quickly move through because we only have like half an hour, and I have some great coalition updates. Let me just see if I can find our blurb. Okay, so as of today, or actually as of, I want to say maybe last week, we had 40 surveys, community surveys completed. And these are community surveys that we need to collect by December. And so we have to reach our number, which is 215 for the whole community. So what the coalition's been doing is getting out the information via Facebook, via Instagram, emails, any way that we can. And it's really important that we get this data because this helps us with our funding for the next years going on, so that we could provide youth programs, partner with people like King County and the Peer Connectors, and create after-school programs with Danielle. So this is really, really important that all adults who work and live and cohabitate or communicate with youth in the Southwest community, if you guys can fill out the survey, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. Let me get the link for you guys. I'll put it on the chat. I've sent out an email to the coalition with the information. So if you guys have not filled out that survey, please do. And please share it with your colleagues. If you could do like a mass email to your agency, if they work or live in the Southwest area, that would be so great. So I'm trying to like multitask here and trying to find the link. So yeah, we really could use your help in getting this survey filled out. And pretty much what the survey asks is just questions on your perception on drug and substance misuse in the community. And it's really important that we get that outlook so that we know what steps we need to take to reduce substance misuse in the community. As we know, the Southwest Seattle community has higher rates than other districts and regions of substance misuse with marijuana, vaping, and alcohol. You know, and that's something that the coalition wants to do and work on, is making sure that we reduce those numbers. Obviously, it's, you know, our goal is you know, zero substance misuse in the community, but we want to reduce the I guess you could say, sorry, I'm like blanking out, use in the community. So here are the links to the survey. So we have them in Spanish and we have them in English. And let me just post them in the chat. So anybody who's over 18 can take the survey. And please copy the link, share it, and I'll also share a little blurb that goes with this survey. And let me get that up. And then you could just like send this out in a mass email to all your colleagues if they could fill out this survey.
Is this the same survey we did last time? Online?
No, that was just for coalition members. This one is the community survey for all community members in Southwest Seattle. Okay. So this one is more targeted on what they're seeing with substance use in the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this one's different. But yeah, that would be really helpful. All right. And then next on the agenda is, let me see. Oh, postcards. So one of the things that the coalition has been working on this past month is sending out our fall prevention mailing. And so every year on our strategic and plan is making sure that we reach out to parents twice a year via mailings. So this year we're doing a fall mailing and a spring mailing, and these should be going out this week. So most families should be getting them by, I want to say probably early next week. Because of the holidays, it'll probably be a little delayed. So let me see if I can share my screen, show you guys. Okay, it's for some reason, this thing does not want to share my screen, so I'm gonna have to. Okay, can you guys see the postcard? Can I get a verbal yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So this is our Start Talking Now campaign. Start Talking Now is a campaign for parents, targeted for parents and youth, parents to start talking to their kids about the importance and you know, of substance misuse prevention. And so, you know, it's always important to have those conversations with their kids, especially during these times where it's really stressful because of COVID, and, you know, youth, like we talked about earlier, are having a hard time. So this postcard will be sent out to families. We do have it in Spanish as well, but we did send it out in English because of funding. So we only had funding to print out 2,000 postcards for families. But on the back, this is the back side. It has parent resources where they can get more information on underage drinking, and marijuana prevention and helping youth quit vaping. As some of you know, the school district, along with King County, is suing Juuls because they are intentionally targeting our youth. And the Seattle School District had to actually confiscate hundreds of vape pens from students. And how they got those, that's another discussion. But the fact that these are accessible to youth so easily is really concerning. And the way that they're marketing these vape pens to our youth is really similar to how they were marketing cigarettes 20, 30 years ago. And so the school district will be, is actually in a lawsuit right now and suing Juuls for millions of dollars. And so hopefully we get that funding to help more with the prevention aspect of vaping, marijuana, and alcohol. So with that, we also have Danielle Bach's information here, who is the prevention student assistant professional at Denny and Chief Sealth. So she does the Dolphin Connect Thursdays from 3:30 to 4:30. And then we have our little blurb on the community survey that we want all parents to take, at least in the Southwest community. So this is our prevention mailing. It's lovely, and we're hoping to do another campaign in the spring. So I'm excited about this going out to parents. Next on the agenda is our website. So I'm really excited to share our website. Let me just pull it up. So I did a little tweaking on it yesterday. It's apparently we had a website going for a while now, and Ms. Bach brought attention to it because I didn't even know we had one up until recently. So this is our website here. It's live and it has all our information. So on the front page, it has our logo, our mission statement, any just like updates that we have, like the coalition meetings, the community survey, and we'll have an update about, oh, sorry, we have somebody on the lobby. We'll have an update about the postcards as well. And then we'll just update information on anything that's going on in the coalition. We also have, information about what the coalition is, how you can be part of the coalition, who our partners are. You can find all our partners on here. How the Community Prevention Wellness Initiative started and who's funding. So all that information is on here. What our action plan is, it's broken down into categories. Resources for parents and youth, and then our contact information. And then we also have our Instagram page linked and our Facebook page on here. So yeah, so this is our website. It'll be linked to our social media pages, and it's up and running now. So if you would like to share that with families in the Southwest community, please do. And lastly, we have our partner updates. So I know Nancy shared a little bit of the little kits that she has. Nancy, are you able to share those with us? Like, how are you getting those out to the kids?
Okay, well, that's kind of up to you. Normally we meet with the partners, and then you would then deliver the kits to the people the youth that you think you wanted to be involved in. So there's several ways of doing it. The first kit should be available starting mid-December. And then within a couple of weeks, we'll have the second kit ready to go. If you want to deliver like the whole 4 kits, 10 hours, like 1 week, we can arrange to get all the kits to you. Otherwise, we can break it up. And it can be just delivered to the kids directly. And the younger kids, they actually have like the band, they do activities where they take photos with their band, do fun activities. Otherwise, they have self activity that they can do with them and their families. So they can either just get the kits and you can assign them to do this during the week, or you can go online and walk them through the kits with the kids, depending on which way we want to do. Normally, we would actually pay a stipend, though I have to see if that's still available, to like an older youth in the high school who would like to help the younger kids with this and actually lead it online with the kids. We actually have in our food nutrition program where they are taking, the kids are learning how to present online and do activities, and then we'll present with the kids. And then hopefully they'll be able to do it in person. And this will also be available in person if you want to do it that way. So it's all up to what is your need is. Is your group meeting in person? Is it only virtual? Do you have access to drop off with the families?
And this is
everything that the kids,
is this available to all King County students or just Seattle Public Schools?
No, all King County. Actually, I sneak up into Buckley too. So because it's where my heart is. It's like you already have a bridge between the two. So yeah, so it's all King County youth. It can be done through a school, can be done through a community center, can be done with any of the after school programs. It's open to anybody. And we're here to help you with these kits. We're actually going to be picking up the first kits and all the activities next Monday. So then we can get them out to everybody. All you'd have to do is tell us how many kids you are going to be wanting to work with, and we will deliver the kits to you.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll definitely keep that in mind. Is there a maximum amount of kits that we can take?
You can have as many as you want. We would love the kids to do a survey at the end. And I have a maximum of 200 at this time. That my grant is to fulfill 200 kids. So the first group that can, when I reach 200, then we have to see if we have funding for everything else. Or let's take it from Spokane. So yes.
Great, awesome. Yeah, maybe Jaquay, you can grab some kids, Stephanie or Maria, Danielle, you guys can get some kits for your kids. That'd be awesome.
All you have to do is email me, because I'm working from home in Tacoma. Email me, or you can call me. I'll put my phone number in there. Tell me how many kits you want, whether you want just the kit one, or whether we think about doing the whole thing at one time. And that, I prefer to do like the first 2 kits right away, and then we can work on the rest. Unless you have.
What are the kits called, Nancy?
Health Rocks.
Health Rocks, great. Okay. Yeah. And I will make sure that when I send out an email back to everyone that Nancy's email's on there and her contact information's on there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other more updates from our partners?
Hi, I can give an update. This is Malcolm here. And it's not so much as a program update, so much as it's an outreach update. It's Reconnect Opportunity is always on the lookout for new partnerships and new collaborations. And we actually have a meeting with Chief Self counselors next week to talk about some of the options that we're going to have moving forward with the Chief Self's team and the staff there. So I welcome you guys to come. I know it's not my meeting to welcome you, but we're just reaching out to see how we can expand our network and see how we can help the students in the Southwest Seattle area as well as the rest of King County. But I know that there's a special concentration at Chief Self and around the Del Ridge White Center and areas in between that need our support. So we're reaching out to the staff there at Chief Self, and we're planning on hopefully having a good collaboration going forward. So if you guys know any connections that I can contact outside of the schools and small community-based organizations, let me know, because I definitely want to help all the students that we can, especially during this time in the winter, the fall, winter, and moving ahead into 2021. So 16 to 24-year-old high school opportunity youth with employment and education resources. We're able to support all youth, regardless of their background, income, or barriers. So reach out to me and I'll leave my contact and you can get a hold of me or anyone on my team.
Awesome. Thank you, Malcolm. Danny and I are part of the Denny South team as well. I'm a district employee, but Danielle does a lot of the prevention. So if you could send us the invite, that would be great. And we'll definitely try to attend.
Yeah, Mr. Rosen hasn't sent it to me yet, so I'm just waiting for that. Then hopefully, yeah, we'll be good to go.
Awesome. Cool. Great. Thank you. Anybody else have any updates?
I just wanted to say real quickly, thanks, Malcolm. I have a couple teachers that maybe I can connect with you. I'll definitely connect with you. There's some students that are, one's going to be turning 18 in April, and when you mentioned the employment opportunities and things like that, so I'd love to connect that. And I just am going to put my email in the chat. I have 2 emails, but I'm putting the Seattle Schools email in there. If anyone's interested in a care package that I mentioned for the students, or for any of the youth that were here that would like to connect about some of those outreach opportunities for getting, one idea was maybe getting the youth to create something on that can be shared on Schoology. Like when we were talking about writing about their experiences, or creating kind of a platform to engage and get the word out. So that's my Seattle Schools email if anyone's interested in the care packages or any of the youth that want to follow up on the strategies and solutions.
Yes, and then I also forgot to mention we also have Southwest merch. I don't have it here with me, but we have headphones for kids. We have face masks with our logo on it. We also have backpacks, like the string backpacks with our logo on it, and hand sanitizer that like you spray, and it's also a keychain that you could like wear, put on and just carry on with you. So if anybody wants some of those, just let me know. We have a few left. And I also have 4 puzzles, jigsaw puzzles left. So these are my last 4. I kind of kept them just for myself. But I don't know if you guys could see it, but if anybody is interested in having a puzzle, just let me know. I have 4 left. So, yeah, and then we could also, maybe we could even add them to that merch stuff, to like the kits that Danielle is having and Nancy's having. We can add some of those kits on there too, or merch, I should say. Okay. Well, with that, if anybody has any more announcements, if not, then have a happy Thanksgiving. Eat lots of food. Enjoy your time with your loved ones. Stay home, stay safe. Wash your hands, cover your face if you go out. And if you have any questions, please email me. I'm going to add our coalition website on here as well, so that you guys have access to my contact information. So I'll add that in the chat before we leave. Yeah, and that's it. So hope to see you guys next, or actually we won't have a coalition meeting next month, but we will have one in January of the new year.
Can I ask you a question? Just a technical question.
Yes.
When we're on Zoom, we can save the chat. Is there a way on Teams here that we can save the chat with all the people's emails?
I'm not sure. I've tried to like copy paste, and I don't think there's a way. But what Diesel is our secretary here, so he's going to be saving all the chat information, and we're also recording the meeting. So we'll make sure we get that. We send that out with our notes in the follow-up meeting. So Diesel, you could just wave your hand over there. So he is making sure that we get all these emails out to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and have a lovely holiday season, and we'll see you guys next year.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right, prosper and flip.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.